I know. Trust me. All right, Shalom Israel. This is the I.S.U.P.K. under commanding GEN.YAHANNA. As you know, today's class is a scripture breakdown class where we pick a topic out of the Bible, and you know what I mean, we break it down. So if any of you lot online want, you know, your John 3:16 breakdown, does God love everyone, or whatever the case may be, this is the class where, you know what I mean, you bring it right here. You know what I mean, we'll answer it all. I know online there's a Christian somewhere thinking we don't know the Bible, we're liars, we're some cult. So, you know, there's only one way to find out in it, and it's the only one way is in the Bible. If I'm wrong, then you got to show me a verse that proves that what we teach in the I.S.U.P.K is wrong. But the topic today is blacks and Hispanics are the answer to the earth, man. You know what I mean? A lot of people look up to the white man like he has all the answers. The white man is the help of the earth, and no, he's not, man. The real help is you, black man, in Handsworth, in London, in Liverpool, in Manchester, in York, wherever you are in the UK. You are the answer. Once you know who you are, once you keep those commandments, you're the answer that the earth needs, man. Not no white man. You know what I mean? Look around. Everyone's talking about the Brexit referendum, no deal. And you know what I mean? If we was to rule, none of this stuff would be happening at all, man. All the nations would be in order. All the nations, they'll be following the commandments. But because we let a nation that doesn't know God rule, look at what's happening. You know what I mean? Everyone's scared about no deal when, you know what I mean, everyone kind of knew that was going to happen. You can't leave an agreement you have and then try to make that same agreement with them individually. Like, that doesn't make no sense. Like, why make it with you one-on-one if we already have that agreement right now? You know what I mean? So what's her name? Theresa May, she's going to Germany, Belgium, Amsterdam, trying to make the same deals which you already had, but now you want to exit. You know what I mean? And these things show that the people that rule should not be ruling. That there's clearly a nation of people that should be ruling the earth, but the problem is they don't know it. The people that are meant to rule, they're too busy calling themselves Jamaicans. They're too busy calling themselves West Indians. They're too busy in the church. They're too busy in the mosque. They're too busy thinking they're Rastas. They're too busy talking about Ethiopia and Ghana and Ashanti tribes. And really, the people that should be ruling the earth, once they wake up and know who they are, believe me, you're going to set the earth in the right order. Give me Isaiah 2. You know what I mean? Let's read about it in the Bible. A time's going to come where you are going to set it, the earth in its right order, and it's written up in the Bible in Isaiah 2. It might be Isaiah 3. 1 second. Yeah, Isaiah, the 2nd chapter. You can start from verse 1.
Isaiah 2nd chapter.
Come.
Verse 1. The word that Isaiah, the son of Amos, saw concerning Judah and Jerusalem.
So now, with the prophet Isaiah, it's a vision. So it's something he saw concerning us, man. So in the last days, he had a vision, and it was concerning us. Concerning means about us. So the vision he had is letting you know who the vision is for, and it's about us. So we're going to see what Isaiah saw about us, black man, Hispanic man, native Indian man, in these last days. Read on.
And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established in the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills.
All right, so now Isaiah, in his vision in the last days, he saw that the mountain of the Lord, which is us. You know what I mean? We represent the mountain of the Lord. Why do we represent the mountain of the Lord? Because we teach his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. You know what I mean? That's what makes us the mountain of the Lord. We're going to establish the government of the Lord, and that is going to be established above all the hills, man. What do those hills represent? The governments of any other nation. Read on.
And all the nations shall flow unto it.
And guess what? The mountain that we have, every nation is going to flow onto it. And we're going to find out why. Read on.
And many people shall go and say, Come ye, and let us go up to the mountain of the Lord. To the house of the God of Jacob. To the house of who? The God of Jacob.
So in those last days, every nation is going to come to us. Why? Because they're going to find out that they're not meant to run this earth at all, man. No white man are meant to be ruling no earth, no Chinese government, no Indian government, forget an African government. You know what I mean? They're always hacking each other, eating each other in West Africa. It's a fact. I'm not making it up. They eat each other. If they take the life of someone who they believe is stronger than them, they may eat like their thigh, or they may eat like a specific part of them. So in these last days, every nation is going to flow onto us and go, you know what? I'm going to seek the God of Jacob. Why? Because they're going to know I'm not meant to be ruling. You know what I mean? These Israelites, these sons of God, this earth belongs to them, man. They have the way. They have the answers. It's obvious that we don't. We have famine, wars, people dying. So clearly, whatever we have obviously ain't the way. Obviously ain't working. Read on.
And he will teach us of his ways.
And then they're going to learn. They're going to learn our ways. There ain't going to be no more, you know what I mean? You serve your God. You have your laws. I have mine. These same nations, they're going to come to us and they're going to want to learn our ways. Like, you know what? I want to do what those Israelites are doing. Forget eating pork. Forget up in Japan eating octopus and squid, which is true. Forget in Hong Kong eating dogs. You know what? I'm going to learn their way, man. Read on.
And we will walk in his path.
And we will walk in his path. So I mean, all these nations, like, you know what? I'm going to follow them and I'm going to walk in it. Whatever those Israelites tell me to do, I'm going to do it, man. If them same Israelites say, you know what? When it's Friday sundown, no work, I'm doing it, man. If them Israelites tell me, you know what I mean, eating cat, rats, dogs, shrimp, octopus, squid is wrong, I'm doing that, man. They're going to walk in our ways, showing you what? The real rulers of the earth is us. And even in the last days, Isaiah wrote about this, where every nation is going to flow onto us and they're going to want to learn our ways and walk in them. They're going to want to do it. And how is that going to happen? They're going to walk up to you. In those last days, you following the commandments now, in the last days, they're going to walk up to like, you know what? I want to serve your God, man. You know what I mean? You tell me whatever I need to do and I will do it. And you're going to watch how they live. You're going to watch what they eat, watch what they do, and you're going to correct them, go, but no, according to my laws, you can't do that. You know what I mean? I'm like walking around your house, that cat that you got, you can't eat it, man. You know what I mean? I want to see him alive tomorrow, man. They're like, you know what? Can't other one can. You know what I mean? That dog, I want to see him alive tomorrow. Okay, yeah, if that's in the Bible, and that's the last days. And the prophet Isaiah, he saw this, man. Read on.
For out of Zion shall come forth the law.
And out of Zion shall come forth the law, meaning from us, the Israelites, the people that rehearse this now, comes forth the law, meaning when the whole earth learns the law of God, it comes from Zion, meaning it comes from you. So why do we vote? Why do we look at everyone else to help us when from us comes the law, not from them? We look up to what? Not James Cameron, David Cameron. James Cameron's the director that made that action film with Arnold Schwarzenegger. David Cameron, that's the one. Yeah. Okay, making sure I almost got it a bit scrambled up. But yeah, we look up to them like they have the answers. They can help us. And no, they can't. When the Bible's saying, out of Zion shall go forth the law, out of you following these laws, you're going to be a light to like basically teach everybody else. Read on.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem.
And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, meaning when you're in your land, everyone's going to come to your land to learn the laws of God. They're going to be like, you know what? I want my land like theirs, in harmony, in peace, in order. And they're going to come to your homeland like, okay, what do I need to do? And of course, we don't know who it would be in them last days. You know what I mean? Let's not say it's me or any one of us here. But someone's going to show them like, well, let's go to Exodus 22:5. You know what I mean? thou shalt not do this and that, and they're gonna go, you know what, fine, and then they're gonna take it back home to their land, and they're gonna be following the same laws as us. Read on.
Exodus 20:5.
Oh no, so I was just saying that for an example. So like, yeah, yeah, it was Isaiah 2 and about verse 5. Who was it that heard about the M6 today about some immigrants they found on a lorry? Nah. Yeah, man. There was a lorry had lots of immigrants. I think it was 21 of them. He's in trouble.
Chapter 4.
But yeah, you also you get it from Isaiah 2, the second chapter and the fourth verse.
And ye shall judge among the nations.
So now, when they come to us to learn the laws, we're going to correct them, judge them. So we're going to judge them like, no, that's wrong. A man must wear men's clothing. No men in skirts. You're going to judge these nations, man. You know what I mean? And a lot of us don't understand that. We look up to everyone else and think they should rule. They're smart. And they are not smart. They rule, and we see the examples of it now. They rule, and what do you see? Wars, nuclear bombs, famine. There's some countries of the earth where there's no food, and it's happening from the people that are ruling right now. But whenever we rule, this ain't never ever going to happen. And of course, I'm reading Isaiah now, but there's lots of bits in the Bible. It says the exact same thing. When it comes time for us to rule, what you see going on right now ain't gonna happen, man. And guess what? We're gonna correct these nations. We're gonna tell them you're wrong for what you're doing. And you know what I mean? And they're gonna go, you know what, can other one can, and they're gonna change. Read on.
And shall rebuke many people. And they shall beat their swords into plows.
So they're going to beat their swords into plowshares. So meaning those guns that they got, they're not going to exist. There's only one way to stop war if no one has no weapons. You mean, what's that famous phrase people like to say? Guns don't take lives, it's the man, or there's something around that region. Guns don't take lives, like something like that. People kill people. It sounds nice, but we know that's not true. You know what I mean? Everyone says that, no, it's not really that. It's the person. Well, if that weapon don't exist, you ain't got no choice. And in those last days, their weapons, they're going to be turned into plowshares, meaning they're going to be farming, man. That same AK somehow is going to be grinded down into something else. And no nation ain't going to be doing war because no weapons won't be existing, man. We done?
And their spears into pruning hooks. Nation shall not lift up swords against nations.
So meaning whenever we rule, nations ain't gonna fight no more, man. Why? Because all their weapons are gone. All those nuclear bombs, machine guns, rifles, handguns, they're gonna be grinded down and turned into whatever it might be, a share, a hook, whatever. But nations ain't gonna learn war no more because they're not gonna have the ability to make no more weapons. Read on.
Neither shall they learn war anymore.
So, all right, this being the scripture breakdown class, why won't they learn war no more? The answer is in for what you like. One thing you always want to learn is stick to what is written, because when you start to philosophize or add on words, that's when it becomes your opinion. So if you was at camp and you're saying nations ain't gonna learn war no more, the answer is right there. Why won't these nations learn war no more? Give him a hand. That's it. Simple as that. You know what I mean? It's not rocket science. So now, if you're at camp and there's someone that don't even read the Bible, he's trying to debate with you, the answer is right there. They're not gonna learn war no more. read up above, and all he can do is watch your big eyes like, okay, where's the boss? And he's gone, man. Simple as. Read on.
A house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord.
So now with the vision that Isaiah had, it let us know, O house of Jacob, come ye and let us walk in the light of the Lord. So he's saying, look, man, like, you're going to rule one day. So let us walk in the light of the Lord. And that's what, when we do camp, that's what we're doing. We're letting Israelites know, you mean, if you serve the Lord, you're going to rule next. We look up to England, we look up to America, Germany, wherever, not knowing that your rulership is next. And you're going to rule forever and ever, which is in the Bible too, where it goes, you mean, they shall have the kingdom forever and forever, and even forevermore, evermore. Meaning the kingdom we have doesn't have no end. This ain't going to be like England, where it's like 600 years. America's only 400 years old. You know what I mean? Our kingdom's forever. And we need to walk in that light. And we're going to rule every nation, man. Read on.
Therefore thou hast forsaken thy people, the house of Jacob, because they be replenished from the east.
So now here's the problem. The Lord's telling us to walk in his light, but then he let us go because we was replenished from the east. For those of you that don't know what that means, when we was in the land, we was following gods from the people of the east. So whenever we felt down, we helped ourselves by following the people of the east. So now he's saying, if we're going to rule in the last days, let's walk in the light of the Lord. The Lord left us because we wasn't serving him. Whenever we was down, we was going to serve some other God. We was going to learn some philosophy from the east. Read on.
And our soothsayers like the Philistines, and they pleases themselves in the children of strangers.
And you know what's funny? The same way we did it back then, we do it now. I don't know what it is with us. We love strangers. You know what I mean? We like to learn their ways. We like to see what they're about. We like to learn from people that are not Israelites. And no other ethnicity does that. White people love white things. They don't care what you do. They may look at it and go, okay, that's good. But at the end of the day, they know, listen, I'm going back to my people. I'm going to do what I'm doing. But with us, we have this issue where we want to be like them. We don't sit and go, okay, fine. But then let's just do us. We get wrapped up in what they're doing. And that's the problem. We're always around strangers trying to do what they're doing. Read on.
Their land also is full of silver and gold. Neither is there any end of their treasures.
All right, no sweat. Give me Proverbs 29:1. You know what I mean? Because just on the back of that, you know what I mean? Like, a lot of people like to talk about the immigrants. They're trying to, you know what I mean, reach England and all that. And there's a reason why. What the white man likes to do, he likes to demonize them, make them look evil, and but there's a reason why. In their home country, there's wars. So it is 29:1. Yeah. So now what they like to do, they like to demonize them. They look, man, they're thieves sneaking on the back of lorries. They're filth. But there's a reason why they're doing that, because in their homeland, you've started wars. You're funding wars in their country. And that's why they want to come here, for example. They want to go to, where else? Amsterdam, France, Germany. Because of what you're doing, we showed you that the white man ain't meant to rule no earth. You know what I mean? He's not the answer. You know what I mean? He's got someone in a country oppressed so bad, they're willing to sneak on the back of a lorry, man. You know what I mean? And then to make himself look all good, look at that illegal immigrant, he's filth, man, sneaking on the back of our lorries, trying to get into our great empire when you destroyed his. So of course he wants to come to yours because you've robbed his. But they never ever let anyone know about that part. You just make it look like they're animals in their country. There's wars and they want to come here where everything's nice. But there's a reason why. You know what I mean? For those of you that don't know, in like a war, you don't let your men fight first. You make them fight one another first, and then if worst comes to worst, then your men enter that land and fight. So what they will do, they will pay the people of that land and go, listen, man, if you help us, you know what I mean, you get whatever you want. So they supply them with guns, bombs, missiles, tanks, and what you see like Somalia, Eritrea, and like them regions there, all that is funded by the white man. But what he does is he hands you it, steps back and goes, look at that, man. England is so great. See, you don't need to be happy that you're over here. And it's not so. You know what I mean? They're like that because you help them. They're like that with your aid. It's not like that because they're animals. And then when they're trying to do the best they can to get here, you make them look bad. Like, you know, these illegal immigrants, the filth, sneaking the back of lorries. They're going to take all of our jobs, run England down. And that's not the case. They're trying to get over here for what you've done to them over there, man. We showed you that the white man ain't meant to rule. He's evil, you know what I mean? He's destroying other people's lands. And then people think he's meant to rule. Look at him in his suit and his tie thinking he's so devout. When he's not, man. The real rulers of the earth is us, man. And we read it in Isaiah. Whenever we rule, nations ain't going to Sadodi war no more, man. And that's when we rule. You got it for me?
Proverbs 29:1. He that being often reproved hurteth his neck.
So now, does anyone know what the word reprove means? Reproved. So if you was to...
Correct. Yeah.
There you go. So now it's saying, he that often gets corrected saveth his neck. So in Isaiah, when we're going to correct everyone, do you mean that correction they're going to get is going to save their life? Because if they don't follow, what do you think is going to happen?
God suddenly be destroyed.
And they're suddenly going to be destroyed, man. There ain't going to be no your way and my way and you follow your God. I'm in China doing my God. Whenever we rule, it's a one world order. What's that thing that say? New world order, new world order. When we rule, that's the new world order, man. The world's going to be in order under us. They're going to follow Passover. They're going to do in Hanukkah. They're going to, you know what I mean, pay tithes. China's going to come with bag of tithes to Jerusalem. You know what I mean? That's the new world order right there. Not no Illuminati, which can't do nothing. You know what I mean? All that's for people that love the internet. Meanwhile, the Bible's real, man. And we're going to rule. Read on.
And that without remedy. The truth. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice.
So meaning when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. So what does that let you know about the world right now? So is anyone in a mood to rejoice now? What does that let you know about the people that rule? That's good, but it's the scripture breakdown class. What does that let you know about them?
They're not the righteous.
There you go. Simple. So when the righteous rule, the people rejoice. If people ain't rejoicing, that means David Cameron ain't righteous. Theresa May ain't righteous. What's that French one? Macron. Yeah, Macron ain't righteous. If you know what I mean, if the people in his country ain't in a mood to rejoice, then he can't be the righteous. But guess what, black man? Guess what, Hispanic man? Guess what, Native Indian man? You're the righteous. And when you rule, this earth's going to rejoice. They're not going to be doing war no more because their guns and their bombs and their grenades, they're going to be gone. And this earth will rejoice under your hand, man. Under the power that the Lord gives you, man. Read on.
But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn.
But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Theresa May is wicked, man. David Cameron's wicked. Macron's wicked. German president. What some other countries? Yugoslavian president. Russian president. They're obviously wicked because the people are mourning. I mean, I don't care wherever you go. There's always someone that goes, well, you see, we need to leave England. If we go to Ghana, You know what I mean? We'll be so much happier. And the people, when you go over there, they're just as sad as you over here. Only thing, you're sad with nice roads, electric, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, but you're still sad. And you go over there, okay, you can deduct the Xbox One, the PlayStation 4, but then people are just as sad. You go to, you got, all right, West Africa. What's some other parts in West Africa? Ghana, Nigeria, Gambia. You know what I mean? North Rastas, yeah, man, you know, you gotta go back to your homeland, man. You know what I mean? Like as if the answer's there. And you know what I mean? They're just as sad as you over here. Which shows that, you know what I mean? There's wicked all over the earth. And also too, they're not us. But you know what I mean? There's always someone that goes, over here, we're sad. We need to go over here. And guess what? You're gonna be just as sad over there as you are over here right now. Take away the electric and all the things that you may have, you're still gonna be sad. And that's in the Bible. Hold on. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 54. It's a curse in the Bible that wherever we go, the curse is waiting for you.
Is that why a lot of people come back onto Jamaica and they're coming back to England? They want to go back after 7 years. Everyone's trying to rob them, thinking they're millionaires.
Yeah,
in England.
that's what happens.
I've seen loads come back. Even my mum's, like, my fiance's mum, come back to England because they're trying to nearly kill her in the house.
Yeah. Well, to be honest, what happened with her? It's a thing that happens a lot. Yeah. It's a common thing where they think you're in England, so you got money, and England ain't like that. Like, you know what I mean? I've noticed that you go on holiday there, they think you're rich, and I'm not rich. There's people that ain't rich in England too. Like, you know, they think you're from England, you got money. And that's not the case. You know what I mean? The same way in Jamaica, they're poor. We're poor in England. It's not like, okay, you're in England, so now you're rich. I'm poor like you are back home. Just that obviously our circumstances ain't 100% the same, but I'm the equivalent of you in Jamaica. You know what I mean? It don't really make a difference to what they think. But I believe it's Deuteronomy 28 and 54 about the curses overtaking you. No, that's not it. Almost I couldn't. But yeah, it's the 45th verse, Deuteronomy 28 and verse 45.
Verse 45. Deuteronomy 28, verse 45. Moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall perceive thee.
And that's key. So now, because we're not following the Lord, a curse is waiting for us. And it says, it shall pursue thee. So what does that mean?
Stays on your case.
Yeah, so now, wherever we go, the curses are there, man. Example, you know what I mean? Since you mentioned Jamaica, let's give an example. In the 60s, many of us came to England thinking, what? We're going to have a better life. I'm going to leave with that violence in Jamaica, or the JLP, and what's the other one? All those political groups in Jamaica. Yo, I'm leaving that. I'm going to England, where there's, you know what I mean? I'm not going to hear no gunshots. I'm not hearing this. In the 90s, what happened in Jamaica was happening over here with the Burger Ball, with Johnson's, 2000. In race riots, you see. So you can't escape it. Why? Because the Lord's got an issue with us. We think, you know what I mean? I'm going to leave it here, when that's not the issue. The Lord has a problem with how we live. And that's why, with like the curses in the Bible, it's always behind us, because the Lord has an issue with you. It's not where you live. It's you. You in the church. You in the mosque. You eating pork. You doing anything that God hates. And that's the issue. Not, you know what I mean? Well, I'm leaving Jamaica. I'm leaving the JLP and the gunshots at night and people getting chopped up. And you came to England and look at Handsworth. That's Jamaica. Look at Aston. That's Jamaica. Where there's gunshots, crime, gangs, division. That's back home. So you know what I mean? So now it's not where you was. The problem is you. And we took that same thing over to England. And it's the curses. And it's saying that the curses are going to be upon you. Don't matter where you go. You know what I mean? There's some of us in Amsterdam. Same thing. Some of us in I believe there's a Jamaican community in Canada as well. Same thing. Like, you know what I mean? Wherever we go, the curses are there because the Lord has a problem with us, not where we lived. The issue is us, man. But read on.
Because Lord, hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
And guess what? All this happened because we didn't hearken to the voice of the Lord our God. As a nation of people, a cursed nation we are because we don't hearken to the voice of the Lord our God. So we think, I'm going to leave here. And the curse is just behind you, like, okay, I'm going to get in a second. And then you live there for probably 3 years. The curse is what you ran away from. They're right there too, man. You mean? And I don't want to just say Jamaica. West Indians, you had lots, you know what I mean? Guyanese, Trinidad, what's some other ones? Grenada, Montserrat, you know what I mean? Many of us, and what we was running from, we faced it right here now. So, you know what I mean? It shows that the Lord has a problem with us, not where we lived. But read on.
To keep his commandment and his statutes, which he commanded thee. 46. And they shall be upon thee for a sign.
So now,
for a wonder.
The curses that we get, they're gonna be upon for a sign. So like a sign is something that it gives you like a direction or an indicator. So now read the Bible, read every curse and go, who does this fit? Who fits the signs of these curses? And it's us. You know what I mean? We don't need to make it long. We don't need to make it complicated. The curses in the Bible fit nobody but us. But also on another level, it's going to be a sign for us, meaning, why me? You know what I mean? Every black man wants that, like, why me, Father? Lord, why me? You know what I mean? Everyone thinks that way. And it's a sign. It's a sign for us as a nation of people to wonder what's wrong. And I'm sure every single one of us in here, we thought the same way. You know what I mean? I remember being younger than I was now. And, you know, I remember like always black people dying, black people suffering. And you wonder why, like, why us? You know what I mean? Like, if you look up the past 500 years, we're always dying, getting our backs whipped, lynched, hanged, castrated. Okay, once that was done, so-called, now we're dying the exact same way. Like, you know what I mean? And you wonder why, and that's in the Bible. These curses shall be upon you for a sign, like, why me, Lord, man? What's that reggae song about? Why me? Like, oh, man. You know what? I'll run the song after. I got it, get my head somewhere. But basically, it's even a song where it's an old reggae song from the 80s. You know what I mean? And even his like, you know what I mean? Like, why me? I can understand it now, but it's true. Us as a nation of people, it's upon us for a sign, and we always wonder why, man. We're always like, why us, man? Every other nation has their shops, their businesses, and we're not dumb. Black people are some of the most smartest races of people, but why us? Because the issue we have is it's the Lord. It's not a economic thing. It's not something that's just like, okay, you need money. It's us and how we live in. And he said it because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of the Lord thy God. That's the reason. It's not economics. I'm always sick of hearing, you know what I mean? What we need to do, we need to open up banks and funds. And that's not the issue. Because you want to know what's going to happen. You open up those same banks, we're going to rob each other. I'm lying. You know what I mean? On some dark night, the guy that has the money for the fund, he's going to get robbed. So that's not the issue. The issue is commandments. You know what I mean? The issue is us following the voice of the Lord, our God, man. Ain't got nothing to do with we need economics, we need money, but what we need to do is blah, 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 blah. I mean, everyone's got some opinion. The issue is our obedience to the Lord. That's the problem. Read on.
And upon thy seed forever.
And upon thy seed forever. Your seed is your kids. So once you die, your kids, they get the same things that you went through. And it's upon our seed forever, man. You know what I mean? Again, in Jamaica, we went through the same thing. Now, obviously, we are the seed of them. And we're going through the same thing right now. Whether it's England, Canada, America, Amsterdam. And you had something, brother.
Yeah, so it's like, I'm just going to say, I was doing some research about the Black Wall Street, and they just bomb them out completely. Yeah. So even if you can get it, they just bomb you out and you want them to go, sod that and let's see, goodbye.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, but
oh shucks, what's researching now?
I got you. But with that being said, the Lord allowed it to happen.
Yeah.
Reason being is, if you research that community they was following what? Christianity, and the Lord ain't with that. So yeah, the Lord allowed it to happen, but they were rich though, and it's something to look up to. They even had like their own airplane runways in like that place. So now, and it was a black community. You know what I mean? And they had everything: black doctors, black everything, dentists, mechanics, airplane drivers, and their own runway. So in America, I think slavery stopped in 1898, around that region. But the thing is, obviously now we can ring someone. It's ended then, but it took a week to go up north. So slavery ended in the south, but some of the black people that lived more up north, they did not know till a black man, he was free, went up there and like, listen, it's done. So it literally took a week to abolish it because not everyone knew. It's not like now where you ring someone like, listen, man, it's done. You know what I mean? So people went up north and like, slavery's finished, and then, you know what I mean? It went like that. And then from then, that's when black Wall Street came about. It was the first, not the first, but it was one of the first black communities, and they had it all. They was educating themselves. They were so rich that even when a white person would bomb one of the shops, they had the money to even get it built the next day. They was flourishing. But again, the curses are upon us because we don't hearken to the voice of the Lord our God, man. You know what I mean? In that same community, they was following Sunday worship, worshiping the religions of the white man. And that's what happens, you know what I mean? So they had it financially, but the spiritual part, they did not have, man. Yeah, if you want to read on.
Because thou servest not the Lord thy God with joyfulness and with gladness of the heart, for the abundance of all things.
And that's the problem. We didn't serve our God for the abundance of all things. We wasn't happy for what we received from him. Just like now, you know what I mean? So with some people, the Lord lets them have something, and what happens? They're like, I don't want that. I want what the next man has. And that's the problem that we had. The Lord gave us the abundance of all things, and we wasn't content with that. We wanted what the other nations had. We wanted their gods, their riches, and that's why the Lord was not with us, man. You know what I mean? Slakia, he passed me an apocrypha. 1 second. I believe it's 2 Ezra 9. I'll grab it. 1 second. The camera right there. Go around. No worries. Put water for that. Yeah, let me get it for you in 2 Ezra 9. Because there's some people, the Lord's helping them, man. They don't acknowledge it. They just don't realize it, man. And also, you can use this verse to show you that just because the Lord helps you out doesn't mean it's with you. But when we get there, 2 Ezra 9. All right, 2 Ezra 9 and verse 8. Read it. I believe there's another apocrypha just at the top. If you want. 2 Ezra 9 and 8. I'm sorry, brother. And you want to read this as well? Okay, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's 2 Ezra 9, and you can start from verse 9.
Chapter 1.
Yeah, 2 Ezra chapter 9 and verse 9. And you know, this is talking about us as a race of people, man. The people that are meant to be dominating the earth, getting these nations in order. The Lord's talking about us, how we are now. You got it for me, 2 Ezra 9 and 9.
2 Ezra 9 and 9. Then shall they be in pitiful case.
And that's us, man. In these last days, we are in a pitiful case, meaning nation look at you and they're like, oh, I feel sorry for them. I don't want to be black. Oh, forget that. You know what I mean? At least know who my dad is. At least I'm not selling no drugs. At least, you know what I mean? My daughters won't be hoes. You know what I mean? every nation looks at us in like a case of like, you know what I mean? I just feel sorry for them. A pitiful case, like, all right, if you don't know the definition of it, it means to have a concerning care, like, whew, them people right there. And that's us. We in that case, we're that nation of people that are in that case right now where everyone looks like, I don't want to be you. I like your music though, but I don't want to be you. I like how you dress, but I wouldn't want to be you. No. I like how you talk, but I wouldn't want to be you. And that's us. We done.
Which now have abused my ways.
And that's the problem. We're in this condition we're in because we abuse his ways. The Lord's ways, we abuse them, man. The Lord gave us chance after chance. Read Isaiah, read Jeremiah, read Ezekiel, and we abused it, man. The Lord, I mean, the Lord saved us many times, and still, what will we do? Sin some more. We abuse his ways, and that's why we're in this case that we are in right now, where nations look and think, you're nothing, man. You know what I mean? Some of them won't say it to you, but how they act with you, how they talk to you shows what they think about you. We done?
And they, what have cast them away, despitefully shall dwell in torment.
So now, take the Christianity out of your mind. When it says they shall dwell in torment, what does that mean? I know right now in someone's mind, they're thinking about hell and a lake of fire and all that. What does it mean by that have cast them away despitefully shall dwell in torment? What does that mean?
Right, it's like going insane in your minds. It's all in there. Nothing works for you. So it's like you're tormented, like you're possessed by it.
Whoa, you're close. You're close. Now I'm like, that was nice. You know what I mean? That was good. But let's think of it in a, all right, remember this, the Bible ain't no mysterious book. It's what you see. So what does this part of the verse mean? We like what we see now?
Basically, things that not working for us as it should.
There you go. So now, because we despitefully cast away his laws, we are tormented right now, tormented with dead-end jobs, oppression, racism. So, you know what I mean? Get the Christianity in your mind about dwelling torments, lake of fire, hell, demons, devils. Nah, that's not what it's talking about. It's talking about because we've sinned against him, we are living a tormented life, man. You know what I mean? And don't make it seem so far-fetched. Like, always think of it like this. If the Bible ain't talking about my life, then that means God ain't all-knowing. So hang on now. God cares about the white man's life more. And what about me? So this book that's for mankind, allegedly, of course, we know it's for us. Why can't I relate to it? But the Bible is talking about you. And with the torments that it's speaking of, it's our lives. When you open up that fridge and there's no food, that's a torment. It's natural for a human that he needs food. And your fridge that is meant to be holding food. Your fridge is meant to be holding food. You got no food in the fridge. A torment right there, man. You got kids and they can't eat nothing. That's a torment, man. You know what I mean? You're struggling to pay the electric bill, the gas bill. That's a torment, and you need it. In the winter, you need some gas. That's a torment, and that's what the Bible's talking about. Because we hated his laws, you know what I mean? He's like, don't worry, man, I'm going to get you. And our lives are tormented in the UK, in America, Amsterdam, in France, where some of us are. We live this right here. And it even explains why. Because we hated his laws. Read on.
Chapter 10. For such as in their life have received benefits and have not known me.
And there you go. Some people love to say, well, God's with me. He helped me here and there. He's saying some people have received help from me and have not known me. Now in the Bible, in 1 John 5:3 goes, we know him if we keep his commandments. So meaning there's some people, God's helped them, but they don't understand it. The reason why the Lord helps you is so that you can follow his law. He don't help you so that you can carry on sinning. You know what I mean? And he helped them and they did not know him. They didn't understand God's help. God's helping me so I can do something right. They received the help, and what did they do? The next day, sin some more after that. And then even after that, sin some more. They did not know him. And it's going to explain what happens to people like that. Read on.
Chapter 11. And they that have loathed my law, while they had yet liberty.
So now, them same people that knew it not, they loathed his law, meaning they got the help and they sin some more, mean that you loathe his law. The word loathe means to strongly hate. So the Lord's looking like, I'm helping you, and it's like, you just hate me. The more I'm looking out for you, you're just showing me back hate. You loathe my law. While yet they had ipity, meaning they had a chance. They was free to repent. They had their chance. Read on.
And when as yet place of repentance was open unto them.
And there you have it. Place of repentance was open unto them, meaning they had a chance to repent. For those of you that don't know, the word repent means to change, radically change. So yes, they got help, but that help came with a price. It came with for you to repent, but they did not know it. And I've seen it. I've seen people get, you know what I mean, help time after time, and they're still doing the same thing. Like, stop what you're doing. Nah, man, you know what I mean? That's not a sin. According to the Bible, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? It's not really saying that. That's not a sin. And you're like, stop what you're doing. And eventually, you know what I mean? Something happens and you know it's the Lord. You know what I mean? Any wise man knows that's the Lord. You know what I mean? And I've seen it happen. You know what I mean? I've warned lots of brothers, listen, man, stop what you're doing. That's wrong. Don't do it. Well, that's not technically a sin. Yeah, that is a sin in the Bible, but I'm not doing it like that. And come on. You know what I mean? Like, don't try to reach. You know what I mean? Anyone who's wise, read that law and go, okay, even though I'm not doing it like that, is the laws against that? I shouldn't be doing nothing that even relates to it. Is that hard to understand? But yeah, you got people that don't listen. But read on.
Understood not.
And they understood it not, meaning the help they got, they didn't understand what it meant. And this is heavy because you meet lots of people. God helped me with this. God helped me with that. And I don't deny none of it. I'm not saying God did not help you, but here's the thing that you should answer. Do you understand the help? That's the problem. Because you know what I mean? In like a church, you get the time, God helped me here. I was in a crash. I got out of it unscathed. Did the Lord help you? Yes, he did. But do you understand it though? That's the problem. And that's the issue. A lot of people understand it not. You got many people that walk into these doors, come to class, leave, and I see them out there getting high. They got help from the Lord. When you're in here, you're getting help. You know what I mean? I'm sure all of us, there's answers we want. There's things we need help with. And if you're in here, you understand it. And if you remain, you definitely understand it. Read on.
But despised it.
And they despised it. So I mean, that help, deep down, they hate it. Have you ever met someone, you think by you helping them is going to be the right thing, but really they don't want the help? Although they say it, that's not really what they want. Like, example, there's some people in relationships where there's violence, and you think, well, if I help them out, if I, you know what I mean, help them with this relationship, they're going to be happy, and they're not happy. They like the violence. She likes to get hit, and he likes hitting her. Now, as sad as it sounds, that's what they like. So your help, they despise it. Although they pretend like, I need help, man. And the man, I got anger issues. You know what I mean? I just hit the wall and I just can't help it. Really, he don't want your help. He likes what he's doing. You know what I mean? And that even goes with this. A lot of people, do they really want the help? No, they don't. You know what I mean? It sounds good at the time, but deep down, that's not what they want. But read on.
Chapter 12. The same must know it's after death by pain.
What does that mean? The same must know it after death by pain.
pain can make you understand.
But how mine said the same, meaning that same individual must know it after death by pain.
Oh, yeah.
After death.
By pain.
Is it similar to if you can't hear, you should feel?
No,
No.
not in that sense.
No.
So remember, after death by pain. So after he dies, he's gonna know about it by pain. What does that mean?
That means he's going to know about it in the afterlife.
No.
After death.
After death by pain. All right, give me Psalms, I believe it's 104 and 35.
Uh, 104.
Yeah, and verse 35, I believe it's it. If not, I'll look it up on my phone.
Let the sinners be consumed.
Oh, no. My mistake. I'll get the verse here. Right, bear with me. All right, it is Psalms 104 and it's verse 30, verse 30.
Verse 30.
Yeah.
Thou sendest forth thy spirit.
Oh, I'm sorry. If you start up just one verse above, verse 29.
29.
Yeah, so just
Verse 29.
just to set the scene a bit, you know.
Thou hidest thy face. They are troubled.
Okay, so now keep this in mind. The Lord hides his face and they are troubled. Who's that? That's us. Meaning when the Lord hides our face, when the Lord hides his face, we are afflicted, we're enslaved, police harassment. Why? Because the Lord's not looking over you. You know what I mean? Look at it like look at it from this analogy. If you're looking at something, you are making sure it's safe. You are making sure that if it's fine. If you hide your face, you can't see if it's fine. You can't see if it's looked after. And that's us. When the Lord hides his face, we know what happens. I mean, we're living it right now. Read on.
Thou takest away thy breath. They die.
So now the Lord takes away your breath and you die. So now remember that it's talking about death. So now once this individual dies, now we're going to find out what happens. Read the next verse.
And you return to the dust.
And you return to the dust. So your flesh, obviously, you know what I mean, it all rots, returns to the dust. But what happens next? Read on.
Thou sendest forth thy spirit.
Uh-huh.
They are created.
What happens next?
And thou renewest the face of the earth.
So what happens when you die? Once you go in the earth, it just said it right there. That
Spirit.
Thou send forth thy spirit, and that's how thou renewest the face of the earth. So with that spirit, what happens with that spirit?
Come back in a different person.
There you have it. And that's how the Lord renews the face of the earth. So there's not no one new here. People die, come back, and the Lord renews the earth. And it's not rocket science. Look at everything on the earth, the water, carbon dioxide, and it's literally a cycle. The water on the earth, it becomes oxygen for us, and it literally just cycles round and round and round. Many things of the earth literally go round and round, and we are the same. That's how the Lord renews the face of the earth. So when we go back to the Pakva, if you hold that one there, read that one again. 2 Ezra 9 and 12.
The same must know it after death by pain.
So what does that mean? According to what we just read in Psalms, when we come back,
that means when you come back, you're going to pay for what you've done before.
Give him a hand. That's it. There you go. That's it. So, yeah. So now, when you die, you're going to know it after death by pain, meaning you're going to come back and the Lord's going to put some pain on you, man. Living in council housing with mice at night, you can hear them on the skirt and the, you know what I mean, or knocking and that, you know what I mean? That's pain right there, man. You know what I mean? You open up a fridge, which you're meant to store food. You have a freezer in your house which is meant to store meat, and there's nothing in there. That's pain. And you're wondering what you're gonna eat. That's pain, man. Police harassing you, stop and search in the winter, take off your hat, take off your coat, take off your shoes, and they, you know what I mean? That's pain. And you're cold, and you know what I mean? What's funny is they're warm, you're not, and they take long, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I got to sign this paper here, and you're there cold, like, come on, man, come on, you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, just 1 second, mate. Sorry, 1 second. I'm sorry, mate. Yes, Sarge, you know, I got to do this and that. Having some long conversation on the radio. That's pain right there. You feel disrespected. And that's us. We know it after death by pain. The Lord got us back, man. With pain. You had some, someone has, you got it.
No, got it. Of course, got to say something. Did
I? Oh, I'm apologizing. All right. Yeah, so we're done with second Ezra's. I mean, there's another one about life after death in the pocket about. Let me grab that one quickly. So if you want, you know what I mean, it's always good to write these things down. Like, it's one thing to listen, but you know what I mean, you don't want to be out there and you got someone who's saying, read John this, Luke this. You want to know, well, listen, you read 2 Ezra 9, you read Psalms 130. Always make sure that, you know what I mean, you write these things down so that, you know what I mean, if someone was try to come against it, you can defend it. I mean, one thing you being the UPK, I mean, we don't just do something where people just come because they like it. You're here because you're trying to be the next us. Like, I'm here edifying you lot so that you lot can take my place, and it goes rank on and up. The next person, he's training the next person to do his job. You know what I mean? So you give it 3 years time, you're going to be here, and you know what I mean, and I'll be doing something more higher up, and that's how it goes. Everyone learns each other to, you know what I mean, take their place, which what we do ain't like what a religion does. In religion, the pastor, he wants that spot for forever. He wants to be looked at as he knows it all. He don't want you to learn nothing because he wants you to worship him. While as in here, we actually learn you to be the next us. Do you understand? All right. Read that again in Psalms 130, and I'll get this other one for you in 2 Ezra.
130. Thou sendest forth thy spirit, they are created, and thou renewest the face of the earth.
Yeah. So now, also, with that being said, give me Ecclesiastes 1:1. So again, you know what I mean, it's going to the same thing about how when we die, we return. You know what I mean? What religion has you believing is you go to hell, you get tormented, and that's not in the Bible. And any verse where you think it's saying that, bring it here, and believe me, it's not saying that. You know what I mean? I don't know if any of you like have any of it now. If anyone has any of them online, which I'll look at in a moment, but that's nowhere in the Bible. Any verse will talk about hell, lake of fire, all that stuff. It's not saying what they think it's saying. When we die, we come back, and depending on how we lived in our past life, is a life that we will live. So if you serve the Lord in the life before, you're going to come back again, and you're going to serve the Lord again, and you're going to have peace. While people that didn't serve the Lord, they're going to come back and have that same hell again, that same pain. They must know it after death by pain. All right, Ecclesiastes. 1 second, get the reject. Ecclesiastes 1:1.
The word of the preacher, the son of David, king in Jerusalem. Vanity of vanities, said the preacher. Vanity of vanities, all is vanity.
So it's letting you know that everything's vain. Now have in mind, as we read on, he knows that when someone dies, they return. That's why saying vanity is all is vanity. You got people in the life to have, they try to do so much, try to set up all this, all of that, and you're going to die. And when you come back, you're not going to remember what you had in the life before. So all of it's vanity. But read on.
What profit hath a man of all his labor, which he taketh unto the sun, under the sun? One generation passeth away, and another generation cometh, but the earth abideth forever.
So now, have in mind now we're talking about the earth. So first it's talking about us, about, you know what I mean, one of us come, we die, another one comes, and the earth abides for like ever. So it's talking about this. It's talking about what we go through. We have descendants. They die. You know what I mean? So your mom gives birth to you. She dies. You know what I mean? You will have kids. They die, and etc. Now it's gonna go into the sun and even the cycle of the sun and everything, showing you that everything on this earth is a cycle. It's things that rotate. Also us as well. So not just the sun, the water, and them things. Even we are in a cycle too. Read on.
The sun also ariseth, and the sun goeth down, and riseth to his place where he arose.
Read on.
The wind goeth toward the south, and turneth about unto the north. It whirleth about continually.
So now it's even talking about the wind. So the wind starts from the south, goes north. So even the wind is in a cycle. That's why if you notice, every year the same rainstorms happen, the same windstorms, snowstorms. This earth, things go round and round. So even he understood it. So first it talks about man, the sun, the wind, showing you that if on the earth, it just comes back. It always goes round again. Like even that, what's it called? The beast from the east. It's the same storm from last year. That's all it is. You know what I mean? But of course, they like to give it a new name, you know, the beast from the east, and try to make it sound all, you know what I mean, tantalizing, but it's all the same stuff. Read on.
It whirleth around continually, and the wind returneth again according to his circuits.
See, so now the wind, it goes round and round and it returns. So now first mention man, the sun, the wind. Read on.
All the rivers run into the sea, yet the sea is not full. Unto the place from whence the rivers come.
So now even the waters and like a river, it's the same thing. They're not empty. You know what I mean? They become carbon dioxide, and look, you know what I mean? They still remain. So it's a cycle. How does it work? The water, carbon dioxide, the trees turn into carbon monoxide, and then it becomes a watery substance, and it goes round and round. So the same way, if you look at the earth, everything's a cycle. It goes round and round, and so are we. But read on.
Thither they return again. All things are full of labor. Man cannot utter it. The eye is not satisfied with seeing, nor the ear filled with the hearing.
I got ya. Skip to verse 11, please.
Verse 11. There is no remembrance of former things.
So now, in the life you had before, you won't remember nothing. So don't let no one come to you like, in my past life, I was, you know, Isaiah. Don't, you know what I mean? Don't entertain nothing like that. No one remembers the former things. No one knows. Ain't nobody gonna come to you and go, in my past life, you know what I mean? I was one of King David's mighty men, you know what I mean? I was a warrior now. I was a warrior back then. No one knows. There's no remembrance of the things of the past, the former things. Read on.
Neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come.
And now in the new life you don't even know what's gone. You don't even know what's gonna happen even then. So you don't remember your past life, and you won't even know what's gonna happen in the life you're in now. But from there, in the same book of Ecclesiastes, I believe it's 3:19, about the place of judgments under the sun. 1 second. No, it's like it's 3 and 16. Ecclesiastes 3 and 16.
Ecclesiastes 3, verse 16. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment.
So now, moreover, he saw under the sun. Before we go any further, what is under the sun? The earth. So we saw under the sun the what?
the place of judgment.
The place of judgment. Now, according to Christianity, that's hell where like you get burnt to death. But he's saying the place where judgment happens is on the earth. Judgment happens here. We sinned against the Lord, and what happened to us? We are getting judged on the earth for it right now. We're not getting judged, no lake of fire with demons and people screaming like, "No, Satan, no!" And they're getting hit with some hot iron rods. You know what I mean? Whatever they like to say. Judgment happens on the earth, and he knew that the place under the sun, which is earth, and this is called the place of judgment right here. The places where we get judged. Read on.
That wickedness was there.
That wickedness was there. So on this earth, wickedness is here. And why is wickedness here? Why? Would anyone like to answer it, or would anyone like to give it a shot? Why on the earth is wickedness here?
Wickedness is here because the children of Jacob didn't keep the commandments. So the other nations, the Gentiles, was the heathens, they then take control because we're not following the Most High's ways, and they ruled with the iron fist.
And that's right. And that's why wickedness is here. Of course, you know what I mean, we're going through some rough times, and of course, you know what I mean, everything that we see is for us not following the laws of the Lord. So when you got knife crime, gun crime on the same earth, wickedness is here, but it's going to explain on the same earth that there's another side of it too. Read on.
And the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
So in the place of righteousness, iniquity was there. If anyone can answer that, believe me, I'll have to give you a 10 or something. Believe. What does that mean? So in the place of righteousness, iniquity was there. Remember, it's talking about the earth. That's true, but what's the only example to give? In the place of righteousness, wickedness was there. Or iniquity was there, like in the place of righteousness. There's only really one example, to be fair. Going once, going twice.
Is that to do with the other nations?
No. Remember this. I have mine. No other nation can be righteous. To be righteous, according to the Bible, is to follow the laws of God. So in the same place there was righteousness, wickedness was there. Well, what does that mean?
Because we then happened to the Most High, teaching,
transgression, but not following the laws. So these lot should transgress. We transgress.
Nah. All right then. I'll make it easier. Think about you. In the same place, righteousness is, iniquity is there.
That's where you get judged, isn't it? That's on earth.
Not quite. Remember, like, all right, for what you did in your life in the past, you're going to pay for it when you come back again on the earth. But it's saying on the same earth where righteousness is, iniquity is there too. So just think about you. Think about your everyday life. You being in here while you're outside in the world. All right, I'll give you one last shot.
We make choices as well to do right or wrong. But
all right, I'll make it easy for you. All right, I got it. All right, you're in here and you're following the commandments. So now in the same place righteousness is, and remember I said to follow the laws, that's what makes you righteous. Iniquity is there, meaning, all right, we live in Handsworth. I'm a righteous man in Handsworth. So where righteousness is, iniquity is there, meaning you're righteous and the people around you, they sin. Do you understand? So it's like, even though righteousness is there, iniquity is there, you're doing it, but the people around you, they're doing something else. Do you understand now? So that's the point. That's the point that he's making, that on this earth, you can be righteous, but you can be surrounded by iniquity. That's the point that he's making. So if you read that one more time.
Okay. And the place of righteousness, that iniquity was there.
So in the place of righteousness, like for example, the UPK is the place of righteousness. And outside of these doors, you got people selling weed on the left and all that iniquity there. And all this happens on the earth. So you can be righteous and there can be iniquity around you, meaning there's people not following the law. So that's what he's on about. So no one goes into no lake of fire, get tormented by Satan. You know what I mean? Everything happens here on the earth. You know what I mean? Whether it's a judgment that's good or one that's bad. And in the place of righteousness, like here, iniquity is there. You open up these doors and walk down the road, less than 5 minutes. Iniquity is there. You know what I mean? So that's the point that he's making. Read on.
I said in my heart, God shall judge the righteous and the wicked, for there is a time there for every purpose and for every.
So now with God, he's going to judge the righteous and the wicked. And where does all this happen? On the earth. You know when a righteous man receives his reward of God, but why? How he's living, things working out for him. And you know when God rewards a wicked man when he's locked up. When you're doing 30 years, that's a reward right there. The Lord, he actually rewards you for what you do. If you're selling drugs and you don't want to stop, you get that reward. When a judge like 16 years, that's his reward. Like here, have that. You know what I mean? And that's how it goes. And all this happens on the earth, not in no lake of fire, not, you know what I mean, up in the sky with like wings. Heaven is on the earth too, the same way hell is on the earth. Like, for example, on earth, the white man is in his heaven right now. You know what I mean? If you want to do like this, we're in hell. Being in Handsworth is hell, man. You know what I mean? You got gangs, police harassment, drug dealing. You walk out of your house and you see some people selling weed, man. You see every shop, that person that's out there every day till what time? 1 a.m. then going home, selling drugs. That's how. Meanwhile, the white man on the same earth, he's in heaven. His community is crime-free, drug-free. You know what I mean? And they won't even allow it to happen. You know what I mean? The worst white people have is like is fights with their next door neighbor, which is a very common thing amongst them. But they don't go through the same things of us. Why? Because they're in their heaven. We're in our hell right now. And in the kingdom of heaven, we're going to be in our heaven on the earth. Give me Matthew 6 and 10. If you mind to read, there's a Bible just behind you as well, just to give Agawad some rest as well, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sorry, we're going.
We're going to the book of Matthew 6 and 10.
Matthew chapter 6, verse 10. My kingdom come.
All right. So now have in mind, this is Yahushua here talking about what like we should say. And it says, thy kingdom come, the kingdom of heaven. And now we're going to find out what the kingdom of heaven is. It's self-explanatory. Read on.
Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven.
So the kingdom of heaven, what is it? It just said it right there.
On earth.
Yeah, but it's on earth, but what's being done on earth?
God's will.
There you go. That's the kingdom of heaven. So in the church, they got you believing the kingdom of heaven when everyone's in the sky with harps and wings, and you know, you fly past me and I fly past you, and that's not the Bible. The kingdom that God's bringing is his will being done on earth as it is in heaven. All right. When we started the class, which other verse did we read which said the same thing? I was about to say it for you, but now
Before I come.
Yeah, before you come, yeah. So don't worry about that. Your excuse, don't worry about it. It kind of just narrows this way. It kind of just so like
Pass it on.
okay. Oh, if I had a sub lights, all right. So which verse did we read about the will of the Lord being done?
Very nice, huh?
There you go. Remember when every nation would come to us to learn the Lord's ways? That's the Lord's will being done on earth. Every nation is going to come to you to learn about God. We read it in Isaiah about we're going to seek his ways and we're going to let them know what they can do and what they can't do. And they're not going to do war no more. So now that's the will. Every nation is going to be doing the will of God on earth as it is in heaven. In heaven, all the angels are in order. All the angels don't sin against God. They don't do the opposite. And on the earth, it's going to be the same way. The kingdom of heaven is us ruling and us setting every nation aright, man. That's what the kingdom of heaven's about. It's about what you see up in heaven, even though we don't see it, but what you read about up in heaven. That's the better way to say it. Being done on the earth. Order, every nation not eating pork, not eating squid, octopus. What's some other thing to eat? Dogs, cats, gerbils, rabbits. Yes, you know what I mean? People eat rabbits, monkeys in certain parts of Africa. And I know it sounds so cliche, you know, Africans eating monkeys, but they really do. I know someone say that's just so racist, you know, but it is true, you know what I mean? I've watched them documentaries and yes, they do. You know what I mean? So the kingdom of heaven is the will of the Lord being done, but no one ain't eating no abominations. No one ain't worshiping no idols. No one ain't worshiping no rocks, no golden calves, no crosses, rocks, stones. That's the kingdom of heaven. If you want to read that one more time.
Chapter 10. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. As it is in heaven. So that's the kingdom of heaven. And it's funny because in the church, they'll rant about, I'm going to be in the sky with Jesus. And you know what I mean? I hate this earth, but regardless of what you think, we're staying here. The only difference is how the earth is going to be run. That's the difference. But you know what I mean? No man ain't going to where the Most High is. We're all going to be here, but we're all going to be righteous. We're all going to learn the laws of God. That's the difference. That's what. Sorry, bro. So it's almost like a mirror effect from heaven to earth.
That's it, yeah. If as a matter of fact, that's the better way of saying it, basically. How it's up in heaven, it's going to be like that on the earth. Order, everyone in order, everyone doing the Lord's will. Simple as, you know what I mean? That's going to be, you got something?
So
man,
we've been mind effed badly then with the brainwashing because they pump him with the harps and that heavenly thing, you'd suffer now when you die, you'll be okay. They smash that Christianity hardcore.
Well, yeah.
So your brain's almost hard to think outside of that.
Okay.
All
right. This is what I do.
Yeah.
I'll give you an example, all right? The only people that really think about that kind of heaven is us. And you want to know why? If you look at the earth, everyone fights for the resources now. If you believe in heaven, then why are you fighting for gold and oil for? Why? Because you know your life on the earth does matter. And even then, it's done that really heaven's on the earth. Or why would you be fighting for it? If you believe heaven's in the sky, then why have World War I? Why have World War II? Why fight for oil? Why oppress another nation so that you can rob all of their gold or their diamonds? So clearly, the only people that really believe that is us, because no one else thinks that way. They're fighting for what they got now. Then they're like, well, you know what? You have the oil. I'm going to be in heaven with Jesus. I'm going to be with the Lord. You know what I mean? He don't say that. He gets his army and fights for the oil because he knows, nah, it matters right now. Because you know what I mean? Because why? Because our life matters on the earth. So you know what I mean? The only people that really think that is us. And again, in slavery, that was in our mind. They taught us that, listen, you're going to be a slave. You're going to work hard. You're going to have some rough nights. You're going to work in the cold. You're going to work in the rain. But after all of that, you want to know what's going to happen? You're going to be with Jesus in the sky, man. You know what I mean? You're gonna be with Jesus, man. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean? You're giving me my heaven right here, but don't worry, man. You're gonna be in heaven with Jesus after I beat you to death, after I wet you to death. And that's really the concept of it. Is made for us to believe so that we have something to look up to when we die. Because while we lived, it was hell. I'll get to it in one second. All right, so all right, now imagine this. We were at jobs that we hate now. Imagine you're working and you got no choice. You do it tomorrow, the next day, till the day you die. You don't get no annual leave. You don't get no weekend off. You just do it till you die. All you know is a machete in the sun, cutting cane, grabbing it back again, back. You know what I mean? That's all you know. And of course, they taught us that so that you know what I mean we don't feel so bad. At least well when they die. So now have in mind his machete, he's cutting the cane. Don't worry, man. One day I'm gonna be with Jesus. Don't worry, man. Don't worry. And really, that's what was fed onto us. But no one really thinks that way except us. I'm sorry, sis. You got something?
I was just saying that's true now because I was in church previous, and the church I came out of talking to a white church. But prior to that, I was in a black church, and all those things are like heaven in the sky. When I left the black church and went to the white church, they thought that heaven was on earth.
There you go. You see, no one believes that except us. Just that while it is, we seem to think we know what everyone else thinks. Like you always meet one person, white people ain't racist. When how would he know? He's only lived in one area all of his life. You go to white areas, white people are racist. You know what I mean? But again, a lot of what we think is fact is based off what we see, and that's not a fact. A fact is something that is something that you get from everything, not just what you see or what you can understand or what you like. And that's the problem. You know what I mean? In a white church, they don't teach that heaven in the sky with Jesus. Never. You know what I mean? Years ago, I used to watch like, you know what I mean, like God shows, and a white vicar doesn't talk about heaven in the sky. Doesn't do it. But the black one, as soon as he begins, amen, amen. So yeah, you know, one day we're going to be in the sky with Jesus. First thing he says, white deacons or whatever they may be, don't talk about it. We do because that was planted in our minds that, listen, slave, you're going to work hard, but don't worry, man. At the end of this, you're going to be with Jesus, man. You know what I mean? All that hard work, it wasn't in vain. You know what I mean? One day you're going to be with Jesus, and that's it. We're the only people that think like that. No one else does. You know what I mean? That's it.
Yeah, and if you don't, even if you're in the church, you're a Christian baptized, if you don't, you know, to speak in tongues, if you don't fill with that Holy Ghost tongue, you're not going to heaven anyway.
There you go. And again, that's another thing. Even that, I believe that's which denomination that evangelistic or Pentecostal, even that is called Pentecostal because of the day of Pentecost in the Bible where they spoke tongues. That's true. But here's the problem. I don't think they know what tongues mean. Does anyone know what the definition of a tongue means? There you go. It's a language. So when you read in Acts, they spoke different languages. If you start from verse 1 on down, Jews came for the feast from all different lands, North Africa, India, you know what I mean, and lots of other parts. And of course, in a lot of cases, you come from another land, you speak different languages. So the Lord made it that they could all understand. So now when he spoke about the Messiah, how he died and he resurrected, all of them heard it and they're like, wow, like he speaks that language, but I understand what he's saying. That's what it means. Ain't talking about they spoke in tongues like how they think it is. You know what I mean? Basically, all of them understood from all the different lands. But matter of fact, let's get Acts 10. So you had something you wanted to say.
It blew my head off. So I've never understood to speaking in tongues. All those people walk around on the floor.
No, you see, that's why you need to come here. That's why you need to be here. That's why you're in the right place. That's not tongues in the Bible.
Nah.
Tongue means language, and even in Genesis 10, where like you know what I mean, everyone went off to their own land. It goes after their land and their tongue went every nation. Meaning, so after their race and their language, everyone was divided and went to their land. So one nation spoke this language, they went to that land. Another nation spoke another language, they went to that land. That's what it means. That's
Isn't it in Philadelphia, because that was a gift that Christ gave to them, that they were
To speak.
the languages too.
There you go. So it's self-explanatory. So with the Pentecostal denomination, they love Acts 10. You know what I mean? You ask them about the rolling on the floor and the and all that stuff. You're kind of like, yeah, but where's that in the Bible? Well, brother, you know, let's read Acts 10 and 1 and yeah, you want to read it, but I don't think you understand it. You like to read it, but you don't understand what it's saying. It's not saying what you think it's saying, and like that's the problem.
They call it sons of angels, but it's sons of fallen angels.
Well, I mean, even that whole fallen angel thing, that's another misconception that people like to use, but we can get to that too. I mean, this is what the scripture breakdown class is about, to show you what's what in the Bible, you know what I mean? But it's called from Acts 10 and 1.
Acts chapter 10. Acts chapter, Acts chapter 10.
If you want, you can have this one here. I know that one's difficult, man, with all the questions. Don't worry.
You want a bigger?
Oh.
It's a big word, big letter.
No, got him.
You good?
I should be okay. Yeah. I was struggling for Acts. Acts chapter 10, 1. There was a certain man in Caesarea.
Is that it? Acts 10? No, I remember Acts chapter 2, sorry. Acts 2 and 1.
Okay.
That sounds more right.
Yeah, Acts
That's
chapter
about
2.
Cornelius here. My apologies. Yeah.
Isn't the speaking of this problem that they do in church started by our women, the white women?
I believe so, yeah, because I did research on its beginnings, and it wasn't even a black thing.
No,
But of course,
all black churches.
well, all right. The reason why we in it now, because again, at that time, us as a race of people, we was going through the same things we are going through now, oppression, and like any slave, you want to feel good. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? You're being oppressed to racism, and you want something that makes you forget about all of that. So back then, it was religion. You know what I mean? Weed wasn't out then. You know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, weed was around, but amongst the black community, weed wasn't there. You know what I mean? It's not like now where weed and mollies and stuff like that. That's what we got now. Back then, it was religion. If you're a black man, you're oppressed, just join the church. You want to forget about your problems in the week, go to church. And that's what happens. A lot of white people make religion and they hand it to us because they know, listen, man, their life's miserable. You know what I mean? They need religion to make them forget about it. You know what I mean? And that's why a lot of it gets rubbed off on us, because we're the people that are oppressed so bad. We need something just to get our mind off it, even for one day, man. And with church, that's what it was. That Sunday was like gold. You know what I mean? Because they've been oppressed all week. And like, listen, I want to just bang that tambourine and sing to the top of my lungs, wave my hands in the air like I just don't care for Jesus. You know what I mean? And that's really what a lot of it is. A lot of these religions are made by white people, but they're handed to us because they know, well, listen, man, their life's miserable. They need some religion to get their mind off their life. And that's what happens. Yeah, you got it from Acts 2.
Yeah, Acts chapter 2, verse 1. And when the day of the Pentecost was fully come, they were all with one accord. Okay,
so now this is where the Pentecostal religion likes to base their understanding of. So yes, it's the day of Pentecost. You mean, which is in the Bible, of course, remember now, in the book of Exodus, it's called the Feast of First Fruits. But in the New Testament, it's called the Feast of Pentecost. If I'm correct, Penta means 50. You know what I mean? But when you read about the Feast of First Fruits, that is 50 days after the Passover. So that's why you get the Feast of First Fruits. In the New Testament, it's called the Feast of Pentecost. So it's the same feast, just different names. If everyone understands, is everyone with me? I don't want to lose nobody. All right, yeah, read on.
and so the was fully cooked. They were all with one accord in one place. And suddenly there came a sound from heaven as of a rushing mighty wind, and it filled all the house where they were sitting.
Read on.
And there appeared unto them cloven tongues.
Cloven tongue. So now it appeared to them. Now many people read this and the word appear. What comes to your mind when you read the word appear, meaning something you see? But you do know the word appear mean something that is shown unto you, or something that can come in your mind that can appear. Some people, you know what, it's appeared to me, you know, this and that. So it's not really talking about they saw some spirit and got these cloven tongues, meaning it came to them like, rah, like I can speak this language, I can speak that language, like rah, like I like, for example, I understand Dutch. For example, it can appear to me like, you know what, I understand Dutch now. I understand that this word means that, that means this. So it appeared to them like, rah, like for some reason I just know this language. But we're gonna find out why this happened. Read on.
Like as of fire, and it sat upon each of them.
And it sat upon each of them, meaning all of them had the ability to, you know, understand the different languages, understand the, you know, etymology of the words. If it's a masculine noun, feminine, it's happened to them like, rah, like I just know this language. I just know French. I'm saying bonjour, I.S.U.P.K, you know it. I don't know what that means either, but you know what I mean? Like it just happened where they just knew it. Read on.
And they were all filled with the Holy Ghost and began to speak with other tongues.
With other what?
With other tongues.
And I'm not making it up. In your own time, look it up. Tongues mean languages. You can look it up. You know what I mean? Because in the 1600s, how we say language now, you say tongue. That's all what it is. Of course, in the modern day now, we just say language. But that's all what tongue meant. So they began to speak in many languages. Read on.
As the Spirit gave them utterance.
As the Spirit gave them utterance, meaning, so as the Spirit that was in them gave them the ability. So now, you know what I mean? The ability that they had to speak these languages, that's what they did. And it's self-explanatory. The more we read on down, we're going to understand why. Read on.
And there were dwelling at Jerusalem, Jews, devout men, out of every nation.
Out of where?
Out of every nation.
So if they're out of every nation, what does that mean? They speak different languages. If you're out of every nation, you learn that language of the nation that you're with. So that's why they had to, that's why the Lord gave them that ability to speak tongues, or AKA other languages, because there came to them Jews out of all nations, all nationalities, all races. So they came out from, but actually, you know what? Read on. It'll even let you know where they came from.
Under heaven. Now, out of every nation under heaven. Verse 6. Now, when this was noised abroad, the multitude came together and were confounded, because that every man heard them speak in his own language.
There you go. Everyone heard him speak in his own language. So a Jew that was in Africa speaking some African dialect, he heard him speak to him in his own language. Like, I'm shocked. Like, I was expecting Hebrew, and he's hearing him in his own language. That's what Pentecost is about. That's what tongues is about. Not no rolling on the floor and speaking something that they're making up on the spot. You know what I mean? That's like something spiritual. I've watched the video, and the guy, you can tell he's making it up. Like, he's even getting a bit tongue-tied as well. And you see, like, you know, he's freestyling that. But yeah, and you see, now that's the tongues of the Bible. What they're doing is tongues of man, meaning they want to be seen as, I'm connected with God. I'm so righteous that I'm speaking something you don't understand, and it don't work like that. Give me 1 Corinthians the 14th, 14. I'll get there with you, because you do know that that's in the Bible about if someone's speaking in an unknown tongue, leave them alone. And of course, unknown tongue meaning a language that you don't understand. But let's grab that. Let's get 1 Corinthians 14, I'm sure it is. A second.
14.
Yeah, I'll find the exact verse.
Verse 6.
I believe so. That's second. Matter of fact, start from verse 1.
1 Corinthians chapter 14, verse 1. Follow after charity and desire spiritual gifts.
All right. So for those of you that haven't read it before, with the church of Corinth, he had to correct them lots of times. Yummy. When you read this book, it's always like, look, man, you lot are doing wrong. You're going off. There's wicked things among you. So now this was another thing that they was doing. They was like basically showing off with the languages that they could speak, etc. So he also had to correct them on this as well. So in verse 1, it's saying, you mean like desire the things that matter, the spiritual gifts, and it's going to explain. Read on.
Rather that you may prophecy.
Now, you know what's funny? People love to speak tongues, but even he's saying it, but rather that ye may prophesy, meaning the best gift of the Lord is to be a prophet, meaning you can break down Isaiah, you can break down Ezekiel. That's the best gift of them all. But yet they believe in the Pentecostal religion, rolling on the floor and speaking tongues. That's the best gift. When he's not saying that, he's saying, yeah, you can desire any gift, but the best one is that you prophesy. So really, that's the best gift. The best gift is to open up the Bible and break it down. Imagine that. While he thinks rolling on the floor is the best gift, speaking in tongues and freestyling with the tongue, you know what I mean? That's not the best gift. The best gift is to open the Bible and break it down, explain to someone what something means. That's the best gift. Imagine that. But yeah, they think rolling on the floor is the best gift. But read on.
Verse 2. For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto men, but unto God.
All right, so what does that mean? Because this is another verse that they like to use. I'm speaking to God. You can't understand my crap. I'm just translating it for them. Crap. They think, well, I'm speaking to God. Of course you don't understand me. I'm speaking to God. Does that mean that?
So what's that mean? That's a God understanding.
No, that's what they would say. They would go, you don't understand me, but guess what? God does. And they go, look, I'm speaking in an unknown tongue. You don't understand, but God does. Is that verse saying what they're saying? And it's all right. Don't make it hard. All right. If I come to you speaking in a language you don't know, that's the unknown tongue. So now, so if you want to read that again, verse 2.
For he that speaketh in an unknown tongue.
All right, so there's now he that speaketh in an unknown tongue. The reason why it's unknown because you don't know the language. He's speaking in an unknown tongue. I don't know Dutch. I don't know Deutsch. You know what I mean? That's unknown. He's speaking in an unknown tongue. He's coming to me in a language I don't understand. Hence why it's unknown. Read on.
Speaketh not unto men.
So he ain't speaking unto men. Why? Because these men don't know the language. It's unknown to me. So you're not speaking to me because I don't understand it. If we, like, for instance, now, if I was sitting here speaking in another language, it's unknown to men because you like don't know. You're like, well, beats me. I don't know what he's saying. Read on.
But unto God.
But unto God, of course, the Lord understands all languages. So the only person that understands what you're talking about is the Lord. But these men who I'm trying to edify, they don't understand. That's why it's an unknown tongue to men, because the men don't understand the language. It's not what Pentecostals do well. See, God understands. You don't understand because it's a spiritual language. It's an angelic language and only God understands. And you lot won't, and they'll actually take you to this verse when that's not what it's saying. It's unknown to men because I don't speak Deutsch, and you're going on and preaching with the Bible in your hand and speaking Deutsch. That's unknown to me. But the Lord, of course, he understands all languages. So you're only speaking to him, but the people around you, it's unknown unto men, if everyone understands that. That's what verse 2 is about. If no one don't understand, ain't no shame in it. You can say if you don't understand.
The only thing I was going to say is when they're speaking in tongues and rolling around breakdancing and that, could one person speaking in tongues tell the other person what they were saying?
No, they can't. They can't do it. No, they can't do it.
Speaking in tongues, you should be able to go, yeah, I understand what.
Yeah, I'll be trying to
speaking in tongues, but no, everyone's in their own zone.
Yeah, believe me, they don't understand each other. None of them could ever understand each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But to be fair, I mean, what we're reading here ain't even about what they're doing. Again, in the church of Corinth, you know what I mean? There was people that was rich and spoke many different languages, and there was some that didn't. And you know what I mean? The Bible ain't far-fetched. How it was back then, we are now. You got some people who think, well, you know, because I'm so smart, I know all these languages, I'm going to talk to you in a language that you don't know. Like, why would you do that? And he's saying, like, why? You know what I mean? You're speaking in a language that is unknown to men. Like, the men that are around you, they don't know it. So if you're trying to edify them, if I'm trying to make you understand the Bible, why am I going to do it in a language that you don't understand? What's the point of that? You mean, what benefit does anyone have of me speaking Deutsch right now? You can mean to learn the Bible, but if you don't understand the language I'm speaking, then I'm wasting my time. Read on.
For no man understandeth him.
There you go. And that's why it's unknown unto men. And it says it, for no man understandeth him. And if you notice, at the end of but unto God, it's got those dots there, which is like meaning what you read next is going to explain what you read before. That's how it goes. So it goes, for no man understandeth him. That's the colon. But let's go back, because what that part say, because he speaketh an unknown tongue unto men, no man understandeth him. So it's even letting you know that that's why it's saying that as well. I mean, did anyone understand that? So anytime you read something, if you see the dots at the end of it, it means what you're reading next is going to explain the part that you read at the front. So it kind of, you can reverse it around. So if you was to even say, for no man understandeth him, but he that speaketh in an unknown tongue speaketh not unto man, you can even flip it around. So it's letting you know that basically it's synonymous with each other. Read on.
Howbeit in the spirits he speaketh mysteries.
And he's speaking mysteries no one understands. That's mystery, like, beats me. Like, I don't know. He could be saying, you mean the Bible's a white man's book. He could be saying that in his language. I don't know. He's speaking mysteries. But read on.
Verse 3. But he that prophesieth
Yeah.
speaketh unto men to edification.
And there you go. The answer's right there. But you speak for edification. You speak in a language no one understands. You ain't edifying no one. So when they like to take you there, really, this verse is hurting them. But regarding Christians, that's what they like to do. They like to let you read a verse and you're like, yeah, but that's helping me. That's not helping you. And then as you read on, they're like, yeah. Well, you know what? On Sunday, I'll beat to my pastor about it, because that verse ain't helping them. It's helping me. And they like to do that a lot. I mean, one thing in the UPK, General Muhammad taught me this. If anyone ever takes you to one verse, don't worry about it. Read up above, read down, and the answer's there. No matter what anyone does, any Methodist, Pentecostal, Seventh-day Adventist, Jehovah's Witness, the answer's there. Read up above, read down. You're like, no, that's not saying that. And you shut them off. And believe me, it hasn't failed me yet, man. 4 years in, and you know what I mean? I do it all the time. Someone's like, well, read John this and that. I read it, go, okay. I'll start up above, or you go down, and it's there. It never fails, man, believe me. But yeah, read the next verse.
And exhaustion and comfort.
And comfort. So when you're meant to edify someone, it's to exhort them. To exhort means to lift up. and to comfort them, meaning, you know what I mean, if they had a bad day, not like how religion does it, but you go in the Bible showing that, you know what I mean, you keep serving the Lord, things are going to get better. You comfort them, but you can't do that in an unknown tongue, meaning a language they don't understand. Read on.
Verse 4. He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself.
All right, so what does that mean now? He that speaketh in an unknown tongue edifieth himself. That's true. That's the easy way of saying it.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, personal, making it.
He's only talking to himself.
There you go.
Yeah.
Give him a hand. That's the best way. He's only talking to he's only edifying himself, meaning only he understands. The only person he's making learn is himself, because everyone else around you don't understand. Read on.
But he that prophesies and edifies the church.
See now the church. Now that word, it means a gathering. So a church, that's what it really means. So someone who's not trying to edify himself, he edifies the gathering, meaning he's edifying everyone. He's making all of them understand. He's not just edifying himself. You know what I mean? He wants everyone to understand. He wants to know at the end of the day when it's done, everyone's like, you know what? I learned something today. Yeah, man. You know what I mean? I didn't know about that. And you know what I mean? They go home like, raw, like, you know what I mean? With the UPK, that's where I need to be, man. You know what I mean? I need to leave my Sunday service alone at some next church. You know what I mean? And that's how it's meant to be. You're meant to edify people. Read on.
Verse 5. I would that ye all spake with tongues.
Now, remember what General Muhammad said? Read a few verses down. This cuts any Pentecostal right here. So I would rather that you all spake with tongues, but read on.
But rather that ye prophesied.
There's the saying, it's nice that you could speak other languages, but rather that you prophesied it. So meaning that's better than tongues. It's good if you learn another language, but the fact that you can break down this Bible, that's the best gift. So why are you rolling on the floor? Like, don't you want the best gift? Why are all of them in the Pentecostal church wrestling for not the best gift? Like, I don't know about you, I want the best. You know what I mean? Why are you arguing, pretend like God's with you? You're rolling on the floor, speaking gibberish, one person backflipping and one person dancing weird. That's not the best gift according to your understanding. According to the Bible, the best gift is to understand the Bible. But none of you don't want that. We showed you that truthfully, they don't understand the Bible. The best gift is what I'm doing right now, breaking down the Bible, going into, we need to, you know what I mean, like going into things that I was breaking down. We need to rule the earth, the kingdom of heaven and earth. We die, we come back. That's the best gift. Not speaking gibberish, rolling on the floor. And the cuts right there, Jeremy Hyman didn't fail me with that. You know what I mean? Like, look, a few verses down, it's actually hurting them. Read on.
For greater is he that prophesies.
For what?
For greater is he that prophesies.
So the greater man breaks down the Bible. The greater man don't speak in some gibberish. You know what I mean? The greatest man can simply break down the Bible. Simple as. I read on.
But he that speaketh with tongues.
Oh gosh, ain't no coming back from that one. So I did that's a rap. Like, so you'll be anytime a Pentecostal comes at you, just go, well, look, it's better for me to break down the Bible than speak tongues. So why are you lot always arguing over tongues when the greatest gift is, you know what I mean, to break down the Bible, break down Isaiah, Ezekiel, Jeremiah, Haggai, Habakkuk. That's the greater gift. Like, why would you want to fight for the second best gift if that's even the second best gift? But why would you do that? If you want to fight for something, don't you want to fight for the best thing? If you do martial arts, you're supposed to fight the best. And now if you're trying to serve the Lord, you're meant to be doing the best. And the best is breaking down the Bible, not even speaking tongues, aka other languages. There's a precept for that in the book of Romans about strive for mastery. I'll find it for you. Second. second. Romans. Second, bear with me. I believe it's Romans 6 and 16. No, that's not it. No. I'll find it quickly. I'm sure it's like Romans 2 or 3. But yeah, like what I'm gonna get here, it's gonna show you that you're meant to strive for the best, and even he knew that. So why would you be arguing over tongues and all that stuff? 1 second. Look it up one more time. Let me have a check. Let me get there. I think that'll be the last one for today. Romans 2:21. Nah, that's not the one. Romans. It's in the book of Romans. I'm just quickly skimming through them. Second. Second. All right. I got a part of the verse I'll erase. It might be 1 Corinthians 9 and 24. Yes, yeah, 1 Corinthians 9 and 24.
Yeah.
So, might start with a verse above.
23.
No, actually, yeah, it's fine. Verse 24 is good. Verse 24 is good.
1 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 24. Know ye not that they which run in a race run all.
So now he's using an analogy right here. Now, of course, at this time, the Olympics was even about back then. So in Corinthia, you mean we was there? There was like communities of us even there, and you mean he's using the Olympics as an analogy with the word of God. So now even all of us, we're in a race, and guess what? In this race, all of us run. No one holds no one. We can help you, but all in all, you gotta run the race for yourself. You know what I mean? We can't have it on our back and run for you. You know what I mean? And he's saying it here. You know what I mean? People that run the race run all, meaning every single one of us. We all have to run this race. But now he's gonna explain something. So regarding to what I said before about why do you want the second best thing, I'm gonna show you why I'm here right now. Read on.
Run all, but one read. One received the prize, so run that ye may obtain.
So now all of us need to obtain that. We can win. So with the race that we got, what are we going to win? Does anybody know? I hope you know.
Salvation.
That's true. Salvation and a kingdom, rulership. And all of us run that we may obtain. Read the next verse.
Verse 25. And every man that strive for the mastery.
For what?
For the mastery.
For mastery, what? Does anyone know what that means? Mastery. Like if you master something, like what does that mean? Like if you master something.
Conquered it.
You conquered it.
Yeah.
So now here's a problem. In this race, you need mastery, but according to the Pentecostal church, they think rolling on the floor is the mastery, it's the best gift, but that's not what the Bible's saying. The best gift is to break down the Bible. Like, shouldn't you be striving for mastery? Why are you striving for speaking in tongues and rolling on the floor when in this race, you're striving for mastery? Like, you know what I mean? You're striving to be the best, and the best, now, not what I'm saying. In the Bible, the best thing to do is break down the Bible. So why would I do something that ain't mastery? Why would I do something that ain't helping me to get to that mastery level? It doesn't make no sense. We showed you that the Pentecostal religion just don't know the Bible. I said it, and anyone online that don't like it, you know what to do, I guess. So that's pretty much it. But yeah, are we done?
Is temperate in all things. Now they do it to obtain a corruptible crown.
So now, in a carnal race, people run for a corruptible crown, meaning it's a crown that can rust. You know what I mean? It can like get like, or like something can happen to it. That's a corruptible thing, but we're not racing for something that is corruptible, which can rot, can crack. We're racing for something incorruptible. Read on.
We and incorruptible. 26. I therefore so run, not as an uncertainty, so fight I, not as one that beateth the air.
All right, well, what does that part mean? Not as one that beateth the air.
Not like it's Pentecostal, like roll on the ground.
That's good, nice, but in the context here, remember, so first it's talking about a race. Remember, it's talking about the Olympics right here. So it's saying, I fight, not as one that beateth the air. That's true. No, that is true, but what analogy is he using that with? Is fighting, not as one that beats the air. Shadow boxing. Anyone does shadow boxing before? But you're in the mirror pretending, faking a jab and faking. He's saying like, I fight, but not one that beats the air. I mean, yeah, I'm in a fight, but you know what I mean? The fight I'm doing is different. Now he's using the Olympics, so he's using running first. Now he's using the boxing event. But of course, he's saying like, I fight, but not as one that beat the air. So he's saying that, yes, you're right, as in he knows what he's doing. That is the point of what he's making. But the analogy he's using is a fighter who's doing his addo, but oxen. If you understand what I'm saying, he's using that analogy just to make the point of, you know what I mean? He knows what he's doing. He's not beating the air, meaning what he's doing for the Lord. He's not like, does the Lord exist? I'm not doing all this in vain. He knows, listen, if I do all this and I die, I'm getting a reward. I'm going to come back, do it again, come back, do it again. And the kingdom of heaven, I'm going to be great. So that's the point he's making, but he used that as a example to make his point, if you understand. All right, read on.
Verse 27. But I keep under my body and bring it into subjection, lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be a castaway.
So now he's saying, even though he's in this race, he's making sure that his subjects unto himself, meaning he doesn't sin. His subject, like, you know what, I'm not doing nothing wrong. So he makes sure that although he's in this race, he keeps himself subject, lest, what did that part say? Lest that by any means, when I have preached to others, I myself should be in that I'll preach this to others, but yet I'm doing what I tell them not to do. That's why it keeps himself on the subject. You know what I mean? Because you don't want to be doing that. You don't want to be the guy that tells everyone stop doing this, and then everyone finds you doing the same thing. In the church, you see that all the time, man. Pastor, you know, it's evil. Prostitutes are evil. That's sin and demons in you. And then someone seems to find him with some escort, with some double D's, you know what I mean? And he can't answer that one, though. You know what I mean? He's a castaway. He preaches that to others, but he can't help himself. And don't be like that. What you say to someone else, you live it too, or then what's the point? If you're doing it, you're actually better off telling him that it's fine than you tell him it's wrong and then you're doing it. You know what I mean? So with that, that's the class. Has anyone got anything before we close out? Any questions? Anyone or anything? Everyone good? All right, then. So anyone learn anything besides?
Yeah.
I didn't have. I done my job good enough for me. All right then. With that, Israel, Shalom.